We thought we knew exactly what we wanted in a tiny home until we actually began touring them. When we started looking, I was convinced that a loft was great. We'd seen all these videos online and the loft looked good. I knew, I'm 5'8", so I knew I was not going to be able to stand up in them. But I thought, hey, I could put my office up there. It would be cool. And I couldn't wait to see them. And we were set on a loft and we had several to view, and they were all lofts. We had loft was it. That was going to be what we wanted, and that's what we went to go look at. The problem is when I crawled up into the loft and I was actually crawling up there, I thought my first thought was not that, oh, this feels nice and cozy. I could get my desk and my office could be up here. My first thought was, I'm going to have to crawl up here and clean. And that didn't appeal to me at all. I knew that would get old really, really quickly. And the stairs are not like, regular stairs. They're a little steeper in a tiny home loft, which is great for kids. But we're planning to age in place in this tiny home. And eventually I wouldn't be able to use the loft. And my partner with MS definitely wasn't going to ever be able to use the loft. So my fear was not only how am I going to clean this crawling up there, but it would just become a storage unit. And the other thing I didn't like about the lofts is the bedroom and the bathroom, the ceilings came down lower than in the living room. And I didn't really like that. It didn't feel as open to me. And I love the high ceilings. And so we thought, great, we've been, thinking that a loft is what we wanted. And then we get out here and we don't even like him. And so the lady that was touring, she said, well, let's go look at one that's not a loft. Let's go look at a couple that are not a loft. It's like, okay, so we looked at several without lofts, and it felt a lot bigger. I liked the high ceilings throughout, uh, but then we thought, well, how are we going to make it work? Because we don't need actual offices with doors, but we needed a workstation, two of them. How is that going to work? And we didn't want to do it side by side. That wouldn't work. We needed our own space for our work space. So how were we going to do that in these homes we're looking at? So we finally found one that we liked and we settled on it. It had a wraparound porch, beautiful. It was not a loft, but there was something about it that I don't know. We kept moving forward, but it was just a feeling I had that why did the living room seem smaller to me? For some reason, it seemed skinnier to me. And so one day I was looking at the floor plans of it, and I realized that wraparound porch, the wraparound side of that porch was eating into the living room. So it was taking space. So instead of being 15 feet wide for your living space, it was only like 12. And that makes a huge difference. That made a huge difference in a tiny home. That makes a difference of having a workspace or not having a workspace. And so as I looked at it, I was like, do we really need this wraparound porch? We're not going to be living outside on this wraparound porch. While nice, do we really need it? It also had a little more kitchen than we really needed. Um, Neither one of us are big cooks. We don't spend a whole lot of time cooking. So a simple kitchen worked for us if we could have more living space. And like I said, tiny homes are all different. They're all different to different lifestyles and different things you needed. And when you actually get out and start looking at them, you're like, oh, I thought I wanted this and I didn't want that at all. So as we're set on this, and as I see that, oh, this wraparound porch is eating into the living room space that we can use, I quickly got on their website and I found this one. I found this model that they weren't really even pushing. I don't know why. Maybe because it didn't have the wraparound porch. It does have a nice big front porch, but it didn't have the wraparound porch. It has just a kitchen on one side of when you walk into it. But for me, I saw it and I thought, oh, that looks good because it's 15 feet wide, and we wanted that 15 feet wide. That makes a huge difference if you're looking for a tiny home and you want more space, you want it to feel more spacious, not only the tall ceilings, but the 15 feet wide. Look for those because that's what we did, and it does feel a lot more spacious. Those 3 feet doesn't seem like it would make a big difference. It probably doesn't in a traditional home. In a tiny home, every foot makes a big difference. So we got to change. I went out to look at this one, and as soon as I walked in, I was like, this is it. This feels like home. As soon as I walked in, it felt like home. And I don't know if you've ever had that feeling, but it was wonderful. I thought, this is home. This is it. And so we went forward on this home, which actually was 12K less than the original home that we with the wraparound porch. So I felt good about it. I never had any questions that this wouldn't be the correct house for us, and it's wonderful. So I think my advice when you're looking online is great because it gives you an idea of the different models. However, camera lenses and just the way that they film them can make it seem bigger or taller or whatever than it actually is when you get in person and you see them. And think about how you're going to use the home. Is it going to be you by yourself? Are you going to have your spouse with you? Are you going to have any kids? If you have kids, then a loft probably would make sense because kids are more agile and they can get up the stairs and down the stairs. And but if you are a senior and planning to retire in it and age in place in your tiny home, then maybe a loft doesn't make sense because if you're only using it for storage, then the stairs are going to take up space in your home. You're not going to have those high ceilings in your bedroom and your bathroom. And so it it one of the things that I found when we were looking at them is if you take space from somewhere else to make it bigger, then somewhere else is going to be smaller because they've got to have that 399 square feet. So if you see a 399 square foot tiny home and it says, oh, it's a 3 bedroom, and they're going to be small bedrooms. It's not going to feel spacious. It's going to definitely have a loft. And if that's something that is needed for you, then awesome. Then it works if you have kids. But if you don't, and it's just yourself or you and your spouse, as in our case, we've got 3 pets. We've got 2 Shih Tzus and a cat. And for us, a loft didn't make sense because one of us couldn't use it. So 50% of the time couldn't use it. And me, I wouldn't want to have gone up there, crawling around up there trying to clean. I don't know why that was my first thought, but it really was my first thought is I'm going to have to crawl up there and clean. And that didn't sound attractive at all on my knees cleaning. And so unless you're 4 foot, 4 foot tall, those ceilings heights are probably, I think they're like 3.5, 4 feet, 4.5, something like that. But I could have probably sat on a pillow and had a desk up there, but it still wouldn't have felt open. It just wouldn't have felt, it just wasn't something that I wanted once I saw it. So it's important to go out and look at these models and think about how you will. Do you need an office in your home? Some of them have an office that is built in. They have a built-in desk in like off of the kitchen. They won't have a dishwasher. We have a dishwasher, but some of them won't have a dishwasher and they'll just have a desk there, which sometimes is perfect if you only need one desk. We needed two. So without having to do custom, which we didn't have time for, and that can add an expense if if you don't want to add an expense. But so think about how you're going to use your home, and then sort of is a porch important? Some of them don't have porches at all. Some of them have little tiny porches. Some of them have a porch in the front and a porch in the back. We have one larger porch, is 15 feet wide and 8 feet deep, so it's quite large. And so think about it adds basically, the porch adds basically 120 square feet extra. And we had it all screened in, so it's actually like an extra room that we can use a lot of the time of the year. So think about how you want to use it. But the most important thing I would say is you have to go look at them in person because online you have it in your head like I did or we did. Well, we want a loft, we want this, and we knew exactly what we wanted. We were down to the model that we knew we wanted. And once we saw the model, we were like, ugh, I don't want this. So and then I found this model, they weren't even pushing it. They had this more towards the back, and I saw just online looking at how much they were, and originally I had wanted to be under 80K, and this one actually brought us under 80K. So I was thrilled, and we've been happy. There are a few tweaks we'd make here and there, of course, but overall, this one was the perfect home for us. So that's all I have for now. I am going to leave in the comment section below. I'll leave this model. This model is already 2025. But I can leave the model for you. It's for you all to check out and see if it's something that you might want to look into yourself. If not, there are tons and tons of our home builder is champion. There are tons of home builders. There are tons of different tiny homes that you can see. One will fit your if you're inclined to go tiny and that's something you're looking at, one of the homes will fit you. And if you have the time, you can have and if you have the time, a little extra money, you can have the the builder custom anything for you. With the right amount of money, you can have them customize anything. So I think that's it for now. I'll leave the links below, and we'll talk about actually living in a tiny home. And we've been here for 4 months now, and we'll go over how is it living in a tiny home? Do we love it? Do we hate it? Do we have any regrets? We'll talk about that on our next video, and I hope you have a great day. Um, Comment below. We'll talk there. Like and subscribe if you wish, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.